Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shipman and Matt Warman.
Ready.
Well, hello again. It seems like it's been a while. Hi, I'm your host, Matt Warman. With me is Mark Suffin. Mark, how
Evening,
we
sir.
doing, brother?
I am doing just fabulous, sir. How you been?
Oh, I just came back from Seattle. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. That's why we didn't really do anything last week, is because work gets in the way of life, and you know how that works sometimes.
Amen to
You've
that.
oftentimes seen Mark kind of squint and duck down real quick, briefly, because he's literally doing some work at times when we're doing this, because work gets in the way of even our podcast. So
Yes.
that's just life, and we live with it. As you guys know, only the highest quality production for you, our fans.
There you go.
There you go. Plenty of attention to detail. So, I guess the big elephant in the room is the first L at home. That was I don't know. I mean, we've been the last few 6, 8 weeks. We've been kind of one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down. My viewpoint was they didn't play poorly, but clearly Orlando wanted it. There's some other things that Orlando wanted, like to make it a 20-minute game. But clearly they really wanted to do anything and everything it took to get that win. I mean, because if they don't win that game, they're effectively out of any kind of hope for races for the Supporter Shield. We're still 10 points. I mean, we could be 7 if the Revolution gets an extra win, but I'm not worried about it. I am worried about what's coming up in the future. But what was your take on Orlando?
Well, Orlando, we know who they were coming in, and I thought all the rest was going to be, beneficial in a way. Some tired legs, but I just thought this was going to be a good match for us going into this international break. Execution wasn't there. You saw that initially. It just didn't seem. It seemed like some of the frustration we saw first of the season, but this is much later, and it's just one of those. We fought to 1-0 victories many times early, and it was just because we just did just that enough, and we didn't get that. The execution was not there. Um, the possession wasn't there, and that's what really bothered me. Is we just didn't see the possession. Orlando just played a masterful game. Nothing special, but yeah, I mean, but overall, proud of this squad team. Going all the way into late August to finally lose a match. If you just told me that at the start of the season, I would have laughed at you. But here we are, and I'm proud of this team. Yeah, it's no slouch, to lose to a top 3 team by 1 at home. I'm not upset. Yeah, I wanted them to win, but overall, the sum total of all of this has been wonderful. So there you go.
Good and bad. I think Miazga was man of the match, but yet I think Miazga let that pass get drawn back for the goal, right? Kick the ball out of bounds. You've been taught, when in doubt, just get the corner. Give him the corner. Don't let that pass happen. If you don't let that pass happen, it's a 0-0. It's probably a 0-0 draw. There is some controversy about offsides or not offside. I thought live, when I watched it live, that Santos was a mile offside. And then I saw some pictures and I went, Well, maybe my eyes were mistaken. Maybe I caught the play just a little bit late because it's very difficult, right? It's when the ball is kicked, and everybody knows
Yep.
that this is one of the most difficult rules in all of sports is offsides. But
Yep.
it looked like live. It was like, okay, he's offside, but go ahead and score the goal. Uh, but then, wow, there's the turnaround right there. If they score, then Orlando doesn't do what they do. And this is I sound like a broken record on all of our losses. Um, the way that people are playing us are if they can get the first goal, they're going to park the bus and pack it in. Orlando at times were playing six in the back,
Oh yeah.
six in the back, all 11 behind midfield, and six in the back. Now, two were like kind of wing backs. So they're playing a back four and two wing backs
Yep.
in order to just say, you're not going to get any balls through us. And of course, that is going to affect some of the possession and some of the passing. But the one thing that was driving me crazy, one thing that I see because I was, uh, they called it wingers back in my day. I know I sound ancient, but wingers were taught at least in my day, way back when dinosaurs ruled the earth, was that if you're a winger, is that you would, if you're going to come back or go forward, it's a diamond pattern. So
Yes.
the post were your end point. The touch line at midfield was your end point
Yep.
to the post, right? So if you're a winger and you're going to come back and play defense, you would kind of pinch in. You would end up at the post, at the back post. So I can't tell you how many crosses go through the middle. If they had somebody running to the back post, it's a tap in. I mean, they had
Yes.
three goals where they could have just run to the back post and tapped it in. The last game, the last gasp, we have a guy in the middle of the field stretching as far as he can and barely gets his head on it. That goes right to the far post. It's a tap in. It's a
Yep.
1-1 draw at the death. And
Yep.
then we're all excited and going nuts because that's what should have happened. I mean, yes, there were bad execution, but the reason why I bring all that up is that in spite of that, we had chances. They played six in the back, and we still had opportunities.
Yes.
We're unhappy that we didn't put in the ones that we should have had, even
Yep.
with them parking the bus. And this is like the third or fourth time I've said this. If you, for the 10 people who listen to us, they will know that broken record. Um, it's streaks are meant to be broken. Um, I think the Orlando game took a lot out of them. That 2-1, come from behind, thrilling, turf, all that fun stuff. That was a Wednesday game again, right? We had that nice little break. We were like, good, we don't go to Leagues Cup, and now we've got a nice little break. Then we played three games:
Yeah.
a Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday game again, and then we have
Yeah.
another little break. We've got a couple more Wednesdays games, but you know, uh, we that's one you if we put that one away, we're at 60 points. People aren't really talking about first place anymore; they're talking about second place.
Right. Very true. Very true.
So, and we've got a lot of people out on international break. I don't know
Yeah.
what this Philadelphia. We're playing Philadelphia on the road.
Yep.
Whether they third place, second place, they're second place, or well, I can't remember. I think they're third place. Maybe they're fourth now because they lost. But without Lucho and people coming off on international duty, where are we? Where do we sit? What is that very important Philadelphia game look like?
Philadelphia, we know exactly what they're going to bring. We've had recent success, but this is always a tough match. Uh, it's again they're young as they always are, but they're already up to fourth. I think they struggled a little bit early, but they are strong. They're above Columbus right now, and this it's just going to be like Orlando. They're going to be very solidly coached, good execution, and we've got to have our defense ready for them, and hopefully our offense can deliver just a few executions, and we can have a W, but it's not going to be easy.
Not without Lucho.
Yeah.
With Lucho on yellow card accumulation,
Yes.
excuse me, again, the refs give us an unnecessary yellow that causes us grief. Now we don't have Lucho. The 2 months in a row, I don't think he's going to win Player of the Month. He played okay. in the Orlando match, but
Yeah,
not super great. But everybody looked that way. He looked tired, to be frank.
yeah,
He didn't do anything like, he still does some nutmegs and all the fun stuff that that we're accustomed to. But he
yes,
looked tired out there. He looked
yeah,
really tired and a little frustrated with some people, and I think that's just combination of the who we were playing and where we are in the season. But
yeah.
yeah, Philadelphia is going to be a tough match, and then it's followed by a Wednesday match. Obviously, it's not this weekend, but followed by a Wednesday at Montreal. That's
Yes,
also going to be an interesting match because they're uh, fighting for points as well. I mean, I don't think we're going to do well against Philadelphia. I think if we get a tie, we should consider that a victory, given who we're going up against, the time of year, and the people we're missing on our board. Montreal, I'm kind of split. Now, naturally, I want them to win. Naturally, I want them to win the Supporter Shield. Uh, but giving points to Montreal keeps Miami out. That's a stupid. That's my bad take. Is that I want FC Cincinnati to win, but if they don't, they drop points to Montreal, I will be unhappy. But I'll be happy in this weird Miami staying out of the playoffs way.
yeah. Montreal is that uh, they're just above DC United for playoffs. So you know they are fighting for their playoff lives. So we cannot look at this as a anywhere near close to a easy victory. We've got to be on the front foot in that one. Um, the only bad take, and I will say this is an absolutely bad take, is that every loss or non-win by these 7, 8, 9 teams, Nashville, Montreal, DC United, and then Chicago's 10th, um, it's it's momentum for Messi FC, and the whole thing is, there is way too many games left for Miami. They still have 2 games in hand versus everybody else. Uh, Miami could just jump into the playoffs. And my bad take is, oh boy, we've got to get our points, but Montreal and Nashville, DC United, you've got to get some W's.
Yes, please, because I don't want to deal with messy land anymore. And seriously, I do I feel FC Cincinnati can beat Miami? Clearly, they should have won the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah,
Like the Orlando game, some bad execution, particularly at the end of regulation. 8 minutes stoppage time was not a help. Not dribbling to the flag was not a help, as we talked about.
yeah,
But if Santos puts the goal in, then we win that, right? So that was not a dominant victory by
no.
Miami, and that was prime Messi doing prime Messi stuff.
Yeah, it was the first match that Messi didn't score. So, granted, 2
So
assists. So they're compiling all that now instead of just talking about his goals. Yeah, they're talking about his whole production, which yeah they were gonna do because they drew against us. They didn't win. So the whole
exactly.
narrative had to change.
So I don't want him anywhere near the playoff story, just so we can. I think Messi has taken a of all the teams that have taken a hit from Messi, it is FC Cincinnati.
Yeah,
We lost without Messi on that team. We dominate. We have the finals. We already beaten Houston the first week of the season. There's nothing that tells me that they can't beat us at home. We win our first piece of hardware. We win a cup for the first time, and we are going nuts. That's been ripped from our hands because of Messi.
yeah,
Um, I don't think the Supporter Shield has anything to do with Messi, although we do play them October 7th.
yes,
I
you,
should be there.
yeah,
That's the plan. If I can get the away tickets, I will be there. But I just the whole narrative about FC Cincinnati turning their 2 years ago, we were the second wooden spoon. Last year we struggled but made the playoffs, won our first playoff game. we're on the rise. We're a team on the rise. The fan base is on the rise. Everything, there's nothing but feel good stories about us, and it's
Yes.
all being overshadowed by Messi, all of it.
Uh,
So, I
well,
mean, and there's nothing wrong from a national perspective and international. There's a lot of eyeballs now. There's a lot of eyeballs now on FC Cincinnati, hopefully, but
yeah,
the league isn't doing us any favors by not talking about us.
right. And there's a lot of things, that with the success we've had this year, um, you know, this should be a magical season. And I agree, in a lot of ways it has been, and with the sellouts alone. But when you look at it from a supporter group lens, it just seems to be a bit strained. Behind me here, well, this way right here, you see the march that is back there, and this guy is right here. You know, I want those marches back. I want the scarves up. We need to grasp how great this team is playing for us and honor them with these kind of marches again. I'm just going to say this now. The march to TQL is small, and I don't get it. I don't know why that is. Um, and it's a culmination of all supporter groups that feed that. So Brigade is with that as well. So I'm just going to say, hey, I see what's going on, but you know, this is a very tumultuous season with a lot of wins, and I'm just giddy about that. But we've got to finish strong. And I look back with our little break that we're on right now and say, hey, this is who we were, even though we were getting, we didn't know we were going to get a wooden spoon. We did, but the team deserves this kind of march once again. That's my soapbox.
I think there's some really good valid points. I think there's a lot of good things that you said there. The march is a little different. I think everything is a little bit different because this was before, as you said, before the wooden spoons. Now, after
Yeah,
two wooden spoons, that march got really small.
it did.
It was the same people. Quite frankly, it's me, it's you.
Yep.
It was the same cast of characters because we do that week in and week out. We're just
Yep.
crazy to do that. I think now that we're winning, we're getting it's both good and bad. I will say this about the Orlando match. I don't know why end of August, just before Labor Day. It wasn't Labor Day weekend.
Nope.
People they had other plans, but there were a lot of first timers in my section. There were a lot of first timers all over the place. A lot of people that there was a few people that I knew, but a lot of people that did not look familiar to me. So there's a lot of first timers. And I think that's the same thing for the march is that, oh, there's this march, but it's more to be looked at as opposed to be a part of. And I don't know how
Yep.
we change that narrative. I think if you listen to FCC Supporter Square, you'll get the narrative and you'll understand you're supposed to be with us. You're not
Yes.
supposed to look at us. Look at us. Don't look at
Yeah.
us now, even.
Yeah.
We're not to be looked at. We're to be
Right.
going into. This is where we're trying to be the Pied Pipers to bring you guys into this stuff.
Yeah.
You're always going to have that. You're going to have some first timers and some people who don't know the tradition or don't know what the march is, or wow, look at that, that's kind of cool, but I don't know if I want to walk and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things, right? So this march here, other than DI and Pride did move a little further out was not a very long march. So
Yeah.
it lended itself to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The march now, quite frankly, is a longer march. Not that I'm saying that I don't dig it, but when it's 98 degrees and you're wearing a scarf and a cape, you're like, do I want to be sweaty before the match even starts? And it's like typically it's yes, but there are times where you go, I don't know, particularly
Well,
if it's a Wednesday match. There's times where I just can't make a Wednesday match at 95 degrees.
yeah.
It's just kind of the way it works.
Yeah. Well, you
Uh,
said capes, and I just want to point out real quick the 2023 season ticket holder gift included a very nice looking flag that can be used as a cape. And at first I took it out. All I thought was I can wear this.
Well,
It
there
was
you go.
pretty.
See, and this is what I want to tell anybody who's listening. There's a dude in the Bailey. He wears like a German hat with a little thing and a cape. He wears the flag as a cape. Like the Mandalorian people, I am a cape person. If you're
Yep.
wearing a cape, I'm not saying I did it first because I didn't do it first. There's
Yep.
countries who've been doing it for
Yeah.
decades before I have. It is just how I roll. But if you wear a cape, you're part of the cape
Yeah. It's love.
collective, right?
Yep.
You're one of us. I adore particularly the 12, 10, 9-year olds wearing their little capes. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see everybody wear capes where appropriate.
Exactly. Good
I
stuff.
thought your season ticket gift was a banana hammock. That's what I'd heard. That you selected the banana hammock. Is that? I guess that was not true. That rumor I should be. I'll let you put it to bed, or say yeah, that actually was the case.
Well, banana hammock was certainly desired, but certainly not acquired. So I'll just leave it
Because
at
I know
that.
you. You don't like to wear jeans. You wear shorts in February. I could just see you wearing a banana hammock at some point when it's like really hot and humid. It's like
Ooh,
people
yeah.
go, really? And you go, did you see the temperature? And everybody goes, yeah, I wish I had mine on.
No doubt, no doubt.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so we're going down. Sheila and I are going to go
Good.
down to Rhinegeist. Um, my work, like in February, gave out gift cards, and I have $100 Rhinegeist. So
Yeah.
we're gonna make a night of it. I think
Very nice, sir.
because it's a short week, and Fridays should be hopefully smooth sailing for me, but who
Good.
knows with how that my things are going. But
Yep.
uh, there you go. So we were expecting to have some people, but we're recording early because I have to get out early to go
Yep.
to Ryan Guys to go pick up a gift and hang out with my wife. Uh, I'd love to do that. So don't make it that doesn't sound like
Good.
I'm not. I want to do this, but we're recording earlier than normal. We're
Yes.
going to get some guests. Not to be a nepotism, you can call that out, but my daughter came into town. She called me some time ago and said, I'd like to go to a game. Happened to be the New York City game. She is from New
Ah,
York. She brought 8 to 10 people with her. And so next week, we're going to have the perspective of out of towners coming to not only Teakle for the first time, but for the city in some cases for the first time. Some of these people did grow up in Cincinnati and haven't seen any of this. I mean, they've left well before and didn't know anything about soccer. So they were all dressed up. We have some great stories. I got some pictures. We'll try to do that next week. Um, that's kind of where we are. It's just nice to have kind of a little chat, if you will, right? Everybody kind of gets used to a rhythm of we need to talk about next game and the last game and talk to the fans and their perspectives, and we still do all of that. But with the international break and it being late in the season, we just wanted to have a nice little chat with each other and with you guys, and hopefully we can get a lot more guests, and we've got some other people lined up as well. If you want to join, please contact me at fcc.supp.square. There it is at
what
at,
a
at
crew! What a
gmail.com.
wonderful night.
So we're hoping to get as many of those people in that group uh, on our podcast next week and talk about their experiences. I've heard tangentially nothing but good things, but look at you shrinking down, and that is a
Hey,
that is
I
a
gotta
pretty group.
give them all the
Yep.
love, man. They
The the
energize Section 110.
the right next to the orange and blue faced fan is my daughter. Yep. Yeah, that's him. That's her. They all brought some paint and had some libations ahead of time. We're in the march. There's a picture of my daughter running around with the pride flag, uh, having a grand old time and getting people fired up. You
Yes.
can see a DOS boot. I mean, there you go. So I can't wait. So next week we'll find out all the nitty gritty details of how they enjoyed not only soccer, Tico Stadium, but also Cincinnati. Because,
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm repping the 513. We all rep the 513. I root for you. You root for me. We root for each other because we root for the 513. I just made
Amen.
that up off the top of my head because Cincinnati's this cool place that nobody wants to talk about.
Yes.
They're like, oh, it's WKRP or whatever. It's like, no, that's a long time ago, brothers and sisters. This is a brand new city with a lot of really good vibes, and I'm really happy to be here with you guys. So there's just a little chat. We don't really have anything specific, right? I
No.
don't have a 2 hour postcast or I'm not lying or Knife Be Lying doing some incredibly funny stuff.
All good
It's just
stuff out there. All good stuff.
I'm not banging on anybody because I have no room to talk. But
Yep.
anyhow, we're just having a good old time, a nice little 30-minute chat to make your Friday drive or Monday
Yep.
drive, whenever you hear this, a little bit lighter. I'm going to give you, Mr. Suppen, the last word. Let us hear things.
Well, the last word is reflecting on that 2019 season. Certainly a player that I've talked to a little bit, and it was such in the hearts of FCC fans back 2018, especially Manu Ledesma, another Argentinian. We have Argentinians on this team, but we cannot forget this wonderful man who is an ambassador for this game. And I just appreciate all that he's doing. You know, he's still going strong. He's out in Las Vegas right now. Unfortunately, their team is at the bottom of the table, and they're struggling. But Manu is still keeping a smile on his face and a fire in his body. He is still the same old Manu that we knew back in 2018. So that's my final word for you.
Yeah, I saw a post literally today, and he thanked the fan base. He said he still loves this city and is still considers himself a member of this city. And of course, I said ditto. And somebody said he should pull the sword, and I'm thinking, I can't think of a better. I mean, we've had Jimmy and whatnot.
Yep.
Manu is next on that list.
Yep. Once their
Of
season's
greats.
done, let's make it happen.
Absolutely, because I have no idea who's doing it the rest of this season, but
Yeah.
it's been, quite frankly, I thought it was stupid. This is my final thought, I guess. Quite frankly, I thought it was stupid the first couple of times, but they've gotten the Reds, they've gotten the Bengals, they've gotten sportscasters and fan favorites. I've now come to really enjoy it. It's gone from this is a dumb thing to all right, this is a pretty cool thing, and who's doing it, right? Uh, the last one was a wonderful a little girl who pulled it, and all I could say is I'm not crying, you're crying, because that was a very fun and also a bit emotional, at least for me. Yep. So that's all we have this week. I can't wait to see you next week with our new guests. Mark had to go because life gets in the way. I'm Matt Warman, and I'll see you next week. Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Subin and Matt Warman.